What's up, guys? Welcome to Nimble Minds Talks of Self and Spirituality, where we talk about different philosophical perspectives as well as spiritual practices. And previously, I literally just recorded the video that is uploading right now, and it's probably already uploaded if you're hearing this or listening to this by now. But it's called Discussions on Stoic Philosophy Part 1. So this is going to be Discussions on Stoic Philosophy Part 2. So literally, I made that video and I was just flip through a couple more pages, see if I could find anything, and lo and behold, I was able to find some things. So yeah, thank God, because this is good. This is good stuff. I like this. So let's get into it. It says the majority of people crave sensory pleasure, health, wealth, reputation, and other indifferent things, which they naively judge to be intrinsically good and necessary for happiness. They fear and avoid their opposites: physical pain and discomfort, sickness, poverty, and ridicule. The desire for wealth and fear of death are sometimes portrayed as the most important passions to overcome. Okay, Seneca, that's just one of the philosophers, right? I'm not going to get into all that, but this person puts this in striking language when they say the promise of philosophy is that the glitter of gold shall no more dazzle our eyes than the flash of a sword, and that we may thereby trample with great courage on what all men desire and fear. Okay, so I love this because this goes ties in perfectly to temptations, right? I love to talk about that, resisting temptations, lust, greed, gluttony, deceit, lying, all those types of things. And here it goes into that, okay? It talks about how majority people crave sensory pleasure, health, wealth, reputation, and other things, right? In general, people crave comfort. Okay, people love to be where they are comfortable, including me. I am no different, right? But here it talks about recognizing what it is that you crave, that you as a person are saying is intrinsically good to you. Okay, and it's saying good in quotes because good can be subjective depending on the person. Because what is good for you may be actually very bad for somebody else, right? Okay, what benefits you may take from someone else. Okay, hey, that's just the truth. Okay, but it does say to recognize here, all right, where you're at. And for example, I'll use myself as an example. I don't mind using myself as an example because I do have experience with some of these things, so I can talk about it. When it comes to like craving sensory pleasure, I talk about it. Lust, corn. I'm way better at that now. Corn does not have me in a chokehold anymore. Those X-rated videos don't have me in a chokehold anymore. I have them in a chokehold, and they're like, "Let me go, watch me," and I'm like, "That's not gonna happen." Okay. What else? Health, wealth, reputation. There was a time when I was younger, where I really was like, I gotta have these shoes, all these expensive shoes that did not increase my vertical at all. I'm very disappointed. All these different clothes that, were really sold to you and programmed into you that you need to look a certain way, you need to have this kind of vibe to you in order to get the girl or get this position, and that's just not true. Okay, and even if it does work out, so you trick yourself into believing it is true because it may have gotten your desired result, right? As the book says, that you judge to be intrinsically good, right, which may not even be good to begin with. It is something, right, that in the end, it's going to show you itself with time that it was a lie. It was nothing real to begin with because you had to dress yourself up. You had to put on a mask, okay? You had to be mischievous and deceive in order to even get it. So eventually it's going to leave you because it was never real to begin with, okay? So that woman that you're with, if you had to do all X, Y, and Z for her to see me and all these things, right? It's besides being yourself and being who you are, right? For her to like you, for her to be with you, then it's nothing that's going to be serious. It's nothing that's going to last, okay? And maybe you don't want it to be something that's going to last, so that could work out for you, okay? An example, a position, right? At a job or something. If you had to like fake all this stuff and all that just to get it, then this is probably not going to work out for you, okay? And that's not where you need to be. A reputation, that's a big one. That goes with ego. Look, there's been times where I have thought this, like having a certain position or, having a certain job where, being looking this way will give you this type of reputation. And no, that there's no reason, right? At least in my opinion, my experience, why your ego should ever be that big. Okay, looking back now, people say hindsight's 2020. I can tell you, like, there was so much stuff I did like before, and I just like look back now and I just laugh at it because it's part of the process, like growing, right? But it's just like, dang, bro, like, you're really trying that hard, because it was unnecessary, bro. It really was unnecessary, and there was no reason to, try to dress this certain way, or have these clothes, these shoes, the type of chain, or type of jewelry or something. For what? Like, who am I? Like, I had to ask myself that. Even when I still will go back and maybe listen to some older music I've made, and I like a lot of it still, but other older ones, or even if I see an older photo or something, I'll be asking myself, literally, I'll be like, who am I dressing up for? Like, God, bro, like, at this point, it's like, what was I even doing, bro? Even with some of the music, man, you just being young, dumb, and having fun, and I knew that, but still, I'm just like, bro, like, what? But once again, that's me, though, being able to look back and understand that these were things at the time that I judged naively to be intrinsically good. And what was good about them, I honestly don't know. In the moment, it was good because I believed it was what? Bringing me some type of, opinions of others. Like when I cared about what other people thought about me, I believed it was going to bring me some type of good fortune or resources, and none of that was ever true, okay? But that was me buying into the programming, buying into the hype, right? Giving into the hype bandwagon mentality, okay? And then it says here, people fear and avoid their opposites: physical pain and discomfort, sickness, poverty, and ridicule, okay? Now, this is where whoever's watching, whoever's listening has to be honest with themselves on where they're at in this, okay? Because this is part of the progression that it talks about with this philosophy, okay? And this can be applied as you continue to grow, wherever you're at spiritually, wherever you're at, over your total well-being. It can be something that's still applied. But you have to first be honest with yourself of where you're at. Whoever's watching, who's ever listening, I can guarantee you there's people out there that still crave and judge these things to be intrinsically good: reputation, wealth, poverty, or not poverty, reputation, wealth, certain things about health, and their ego, right? And they judge these things, monetary value and material things, to be intrinsically good, when in reality, those things really don't have value except the value people assign to them, okay? So you have to be honest with yourself in order to see growth, in order to actually create positive changes, right? You have to be honest with yourself. Are you a person who is very materialistic? Okay. Are you a person who's very ego driven? Me. It has to be this way. Are you a person that's not able to take others' opinion or listen to other points? And even though you may not agree, understand that, okay, this person's going to have this opinion because of this particular situation. And you know what? I can understand that, okay? Where are you at? And even in this book, with this philosophy, it urges you to go after the opposite thing. And for me, that has brought me a lot of progress mentally. And when it comes to being able to learn different things spiritually, it has brought me a lot of progress, because there was a time where I was like, I'll say afraid, honestly, scared. Like, dang, like, if I don't have these shoes, if I don't have these clothes, bro, I need to have this vehicle. I need to have this type of motory, transport. I need to have this phone. I need this chain. It's my money. I need it now. Like, that's the type of mindset I had, I'm telling you. And there was a time where I was afraid. What if I didn't have a certain look to me, What if I don't have this, motorized vehicle with me, right? What if I don't have the latest and greatest phone with me, okay? What if you just don't have all these things? What if I'm not a millionaire? What if I'm not a trillionaire? None of that stuff matters anymore, And I got over that. But there was a point where I was like that, okay? And it took me to experience the opposite of those things. It took me to experience the other side of those things, the flip side of those things, to understand where I would actually prefer to be. Because once again, for the people out there, whoever's watching, whoever's listening, you got to, right, experience both sides, right? But at the end of the day, you're still going to make the decision of where you're going to value, your time. Because there's people that are going to experience both sides and be like, you know what? I like that Lamborghini. You know what? Corvette. Like, you know what? I like them Jordans. Like, I'm telling you, there's gonna be people that go on both sides, and they're gonna go back. There's gonna be people that go back, and that's okay. But at least for me, when it came to experiencing both sides, I realized that, hey, these things actually are not that important to me. And it was probably just a lot of programming I've had, just being young, growing up, social media, and, you know, the peer pressure, just being around other people that value that stuff, that made me even care about that stuff, to be honest with you, because I don't care about shoes like that. Like, as long as they're comfortable and they fit the situation for the most part, or the event, I'll be all right. I'm good having like a couple pair of jeans, and, you know, I can just change my shirt here and there. Like, I don't really need all that stuff. Like, there's a time I'm like, I gotta have whatever the name brand jeans are, right? I don't know what the real popular stuff is, but whatever the real popular stuff is, I was into that. Like, I gotta have these name brand jeans. I gotta have this type of shirt. You know what I'm saying? I gotta look like this dude I just seen on the internet for 30 seconds for no reason. Like, stuff like that. I was into that. And after I got to experience the opposite, I realized that there was no value there at all. There was no value in having a reputation, at least for me. There was no value in having an ego. There was no value in having any of those things for me, because it was just like, it really wasn't fulfilling my spirit or my soul at all. And I always talk about that on this channel. I will continue to talk about that in the videos I make, okay? There will be some reference, some mention to that, whether it's time, temptations, or feeding your spirit and your soul, which is ultimately feeding God, right? So it was not feeding that at all. Like, there was no type of spirit gain, no type of soul fulfillment, like anything. So that's what eventually it led to me realizing, okay, maybe I don't need those things. And I urge whoever's watching, whoever's listening, to give it a try. And I'm not saying that you gotta like go and, you know, flip your whole lifestyle upside down. No, not at all. That's unrealistic, okay? But start small, you know, try like, maybe you're a person who's really into shoes or something, okay? Maybe buy a few less pair of shoes, okay? Or maybe get a pair of shoes that you like and, you know, you just can't live without one. You know, get them dirty a little bit, crease them up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that, little things to show you that it's really not that serious at the end of the day. It's not that important to you. There's more important things that you should probably be valuing than a brand shoe that you don't own and aren't really making any money on anyway. But there should be other things that you value, right? So that's what I would urge the people, whoever's watching, whoever's listening to, try the opposite, right? Because that's what it talks about. People will fear and avoid the uncomfortable things, which is having to look in that mirror and be honest with yourself about what side you're on. And most people are, I believe, are on that side of that material value, that material worship. And they can't help to look in the mirror and tell themselves, hey, I haven't been being honest with myself. There's been some stuff that I think I'm giving a little bit too much time to, okay? But that's one of the things that it definitely talks about that I really like, okay? And I really enjoy. Discomfort. Okay, it says people, they fear and avoid their opposites. Discomfort, okay? And ridicule. Let's talk about discomfort and ridicule. Let's focus on that. And this is going to go in your temptations. There's people who fear discomfort, and they're going to feel ridicule from not giving into their temptations anymore. It's going to be uncomfortable putting down the drink for a little bit. It's going to be uncomfortable putting down that blunt for a little bit. It's going to be uncomfortable stopping the gossip. It's going to be uncomfortable stopping the lying, okay? That's uncomfortable. And guess what? People are going to face ridicule. How are they going to face ridicule? How are people going to face ridicule? People hang out with people. People love to feed off each other's energies. Not saying that's a bad thing, but that's people, okay? And once people try to change and put in that work to change for the better, the group gonna look at you like, what is you doing? Like, that's the ridicule right there. Oh, you want to put down the drink? You think you're better than us? You want to put down the blunt? You think you're better than us? Oh, you want to start working out? You think you're better than us? Oh, you're eating better? You think you're better than us? That's the ridicule right there. That is the ridicule right there, which will also feed into that discomfort, because now that's the peer pressure. Now you have pressure on you. Dang, do I give up me trying to really improve myself and feed the spirit and feed the soul for these people's opinion and these people's approval? Or do I actually go, you know what? Let me try to stick to this. Let me actually put in some effort here to be better, okay? And strive for something different. Strive for the opposite that most people fear and most people avoid. Because that's the truth, though. Once again, it's way easier said than done. Trust me. A lot of this stuff is way easier said than done. A lot of people would much rather just talk about it and not do anything, okay? Most people would rather not do anything and just talk about it. That's the truth. And the truth is most people are going to do that. That's why the people who actually are putting an effort to change, the people who are actually doing it, those are the people who stand out, because most people ain't actually doing anything. Most people just talk about it and actually don't do anything. So the people that actually stand out are the people who are actually putting in that effort to consciously what? Resist those temptations. Put the drink down. Put the blunt down. Hey, I ain't gossiping today. I ain't lying today. I'm not going to do those things today. Okay? You know, people are going to face discomfort when they stop. People are going to face ridicule when they stop. I like to think about those things like withdrawal symptoms, right? Like if you ever do any type of drug, and anything, right? Like, because anything could be a drug, right? Like the drinking, alcohol is a drug, smoking is a drug, anything, right? It's like withdrawal symptoms after you've done it for so long. There's people who have lied their entire lives, and at the moment they stop, it's like withdrawal symptoms. It's like they don't even know they lying anymore. It just slip out like, oh, I lied. Oh my goodness. There's people who gossip so much. The moment they stop gossiping, bro, what do we talk about? Because all I do is gossip. What do we talk about? Because all I do is talk about other people, what they got going on, what this person got going on, and this person's doing this. When they stop doing that, what do they do now? People can have withdrawal symptoms like that. That's how I like to apply my withdrawal symptoms. It ain't just because people want to stop. That ain't just withdrawal symptoms. People have withdrawal symptoms from materialism. People have withdrawal symptoms from ego and reputation. People have withdrawal symptoms from all that stuff. Some people just have to be in the spotlight. Some people just have to be in the limelight. Okay? Some people just have to. That's just the truth. And you can have withdrawal symptoms from that. Okay? So that's why I really love this talking point when it comes to this book. Because then also what? Where does it wrap up at? It wraps up here in the text when it talks about, hey, the promise of philosophy is that the glitter of gold shall no more dazzle our eyes than the flash of a sword, and that we may trample with great courage on what all men desire and fear. So in other words, you will no longer be controlled by your desires and temptations. You will no longer be controlled by the promises of more money, by the promises of more materialism, because now, since you put yourself through the test, since you've understood that, hey, I've had to go out here and experience the opposite of polarity of my experience, now you understand the grass ain't always green on the other side. All that glitters ain't gold, okay? And that's the truth. All that glitters ain't gold, and the grass is not always greener on the other side, okay? And if the grass is always greener on the other side, what they got going on in that grass? Is that grass even real? Like, we got to start asking questions here. And then the gold is always shining. What are you spraying on the gold? Like, bro, you got to start asking questions. So that's what it comes to. Okay, you will start to realize that a lot of things have been sold to you. You'll realize that not giving into your temptations helps you. You'll realize that having some self-control, having some self-discipline, I'm going to say no today. I'm going to say no to this. I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say no to whatever it is, okay? Will start to help you, okay? It will help you, okay? But you have to put that effort in, and you will see benefits. And once again, you will no longer be controlled by it. That's the big thing. You will no longer feel obligated to, I'm in this social setting with all these people, I gotta have a drink. I'm in these social setting with all these people, and they know me as this guy, so I have to act this way. So, my ego and my reputation is trying to talk to me. I'm in this situation, so now we gossip usually, so I'm just gonna gossip. I'm engaged with the gossip with them. I'm just gonna talk about all this stuff with them just because, I'm used to it. This is what we do. I'm with this group of people, we just be lying all the time and just making up stuff, so I'm going to just lie with them. Like, this is what we do. We just lie and stuff. Like, nah. Say no. Say no. Okay? Say no. Because then once again, you'll realize that, what? Maybe I was sold a dream. Maybe I really believed the grass was greener on the other side over there. Maybe I believed everything that shines is gold. Maybe I believed just because she looked good, she was good. Maybe I believed just because she looked good, she'd be loyal. Maybe it's because I believed just because I wore these clothes and did these things, I would be this thing. Maybe I really believed having money would make me funny. Maybe I really believed having money would give me honeys. Maybe I really believed whatever it is, okay? Getting all this material stuff would equate to increasing my value. Maybe you believe those things, okay? But you have to understand there's a lot of value that people place on things that is not necessarily true for that thing. Okay, who says having this expensive car is really that good? I'm waiting. No one, okay? Except the person selling it to you. Let me say that again. Who said, and this don't even just go for cars, it goes for anything like expensive. But I'm using the car as an example. Who said having this car, right? Or having these clothes, right? Having these shoes, right? Having all these material things was really that good? No one. I'm waiting. No one except the person probably selling it to you, okay? I'm going to say it one more time. Who said the car? Who said the clothes? Who said the chain? Who said the shoes? Who said the girls? Who said the, hey, whatever you want to say. The women, who said all that stuff was even good? No one. I'm waiting. Except the person probably selling it to you. In other words, most of the time, the people hyping something up are usually trying to sell you something. The people who are trying to make something sound something like more than it is to get you to take your pocket out and then you pull the card out are probably trying to sell you something. So you need to be careful, okay? That you don't start assigning, and I put it in quotes, intrinsically good desires and feelings with things that are neither. In the end, the truth be told. Okay. So, hey, once again, resist those temptations out there. Okay. And just practice some self-discipline. Okay. Obviously, people have their habits. People have the things they like to do. And it's just, once again, about balance. Nobody's saying go super cold turkey or whatever it is. But have some discipline. Be able to say no a couple times. Okay. And I'm sure you'll see some benefits. So, anyway, with that being said, that is the video. Hope you're able to take some from it and apply something to your life. Whatever it is that can see and give you and bring forth some positive change. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.